I'm Greg Wolf with Lab Group 3B, which is Tuesday morning. So the purpose of this is Lab 2, was to investigate the characteristics of laser beam divergence, both with and without lenses in the system. So I'll take a look at the system without lenses, and Fa will later add lenses and look at beam divergence, beam waste, and so on and so forth. So before we can do anything, we have to align our laser as we did last week in Lab 1. So I won't go over that too much, but basically use the pinhole trick again to make sure the laser was perfectly aligned along the optical rail. Once that was done, we put the microscope behind it and made sure that was aligned as well using the crosshair technique. Pause. Okay, so correction, we put the microscope on the rail, took the pinhole off, and with the laser beam off, we looked down the microscope and focused on the front plane of the laser. Then we took the microscope, moved it 1,000 millimeters back, and placed the knife edge at the focus of the microscope. Basically, the whole purpose of this was just to make sure that the front plane of the laser was exactly 1,000 millimeters away from the knife edge. Pause. So once we knew that we had the knife edge exactly 1,000 millimeters away from the front plane of the laser, we removed the microscope. That's no longer needed. That was just to position the knife edge. Remove the microscope, and we placed the photodiode here, which is hooked up to a voltmeter. And then we profiled the beam by moving the knife edge across the beam and taking readings from the voltmeter in increments of 10 microns or 20 microns. So what we expected to see was a Gaussian profile for the beam, and these data points are when the knife edge was at 1,000 millimeters. We did this again a certain distance beyond that, 1353 millimeters away from the laser. And what we expected to see was another Gaussian beam profile, but we expected the beam profile to be wider because of the divergence of the beam. And it may be a little hard to see that here because this hasn't been normalized yet, but that is indeed what we saw. Yeah.
Hey, this part I'm going to continue explain the rest of the lab when we insert the lens in the beam. So we use the same technique that Greg already discussed about using the microscope to focus on the surface of the lasers, and then insert a lens in and focus on the surface of the lens. The distance withdrawable is a distance it determines the location of the lens right now. And we repeat the same measurement by insert a knife edge at between the lens and the detector. And one important point is the lens will focus and re-image the waves over here. So we should insert a knife edge before and after the new waves, and we redo the measurement and we take the data like we did in the last part. One important thing that we saw is that the knife edge have the really sharp edge, and it will create a diffraction, and this also affect our measurement. Hey, this is me again, and I'm going to discuss more in depth about why we do this experiment and how we actually using our data to calculate calculate the beam waves and the related range. So this one and how the setup one layout, we just have a laser beam with this is a hyperbola. So we insert the knife edge in the first positions and the second positions. This one is our delta Z right here, and when we scan through the beam, we have the Gaussian shape, and from using the graph, we can calculate the waves W1, W2 by using the deviation. Then we calculate the distance, we know the distance delta Z from the measurement that we got before. So we plug into the equation. So in the slides node, we calculate Z naught, and from Z naught we calculate delta Z naught. I'm sorry, W Z naught, W naught. and we recalculate Z1 and Z2, recalculate delta Z, and check for the answer if it matches with the measurement that we take in the lab. For the second lab, this is the same layout, but however, when we should insert the lens in, it's going to re-image the waist right here. So we measure the position 1 in front of the new beam waist, and the second position is after the new beam waist. This one's to be delta Z. And from there we go through the calculation again, and that we should redo the measurement and we compare delta Z calculated with the delta Z in the lab. So this is the result from the measurement before, and this is the result of the measurement after the beam width. Determine the deviation multiplied by square root of 2, we get the new beam width.